All right. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. We are back at it as always, coming to you from beautiful Detroit, Michigan. It's a little overcast today, but it's still beautiful. It's our hometown. We love it. What's up, everybody? Happy to have you guys back with us. This is the favorite part of my day. I think it's the favorite part of Jason's day. Jason is back from the dentist, so we're gonna have him coming from Detroit. Oh, I heard him.
Am I live?
There you are.
Yeah, I liked your dancing in the beginning, but it ended so quickly. So I think it's because we're behind schedule. So, and that's it. So now Aaron Bry is texting me during the show. So let's see what he's texting me. It must be urgent. So call me after Power Hour. Got an update on podcast. So it means up on Wednesday. Another cool podcasting company that does some. Okay, so you guys, we will getting into podcasts. If you can help us, let us know. Aaron Bry is trying to help us, but I don't know. That's the beginning. I'm getting texts during the show. Aaron's a producer on the show. Shouldn't be texting me during the show, Luke, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's multitasking.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, fine. All right, well, it was a long trip to the dentist. I'm back. My teeth are here, and I'm back from Florida, from Miami.
Jason, we were speculating you'd come back with gold teeth. I think you failed us. So you better have some stock picks this week to make up for that.
Oh yeah, I traded a lot last week, and I said I gave some of my picks in there. I bought a bunch of pen last week, as I told you, Luke. I did one of those things where I did a finger mistake where I added another zero, and I look at my pen stock, and I'm up a bunch of money today, and I was like, what the heck? It's only up like $4, and it's because I bought my biggest share of stock in my entire life in one trade, and it showed me like nothing went wrong. It was like I went on huge on margin, but it showed me on some of my trades, if I would have bought my Teslas or whoever like that. I mean, I bought a lot of pen, a lot, and I sold a little bit this morning. Just a little. It's at 99, so I sold some at 98, and I kept the big thing, so it's up 7%. I don't know how many likes we have, because I'll message Portnoy if we have a decent amount, to see if he'll come on and talk about pen, almost saying $100. But we only have 120 people watching right now. So I don't even know if we're on Twitter, but guys, slam that like button. If we can get to like 250, then I'll message him about coming on the show right now. So slam that like button, subscribe to the channel, and Luke, give me a drum roll.
There it is.
We hit over 40,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Finally.
Woo! All right. I think that all of us that are by ourselves watching, it's a little bit weird to clap when you're by yourself, but I think this is a need for celebration. When we started this just a couple of months ago, we were at somewhere around 15,000. We're up to 40,000 strong in ZingerNation out there. We are here together every single day. We're in the morning, the middle of the day, at the close to try to make some money together. I love ZingerNation, and I love that we're up to 40K with this group.
Yeah, and then back to a couple of things. We have a new segment on the show today. Today we're doing Are You Smarter Than a Third Grader? Where producer Rohan or Brohan are going to ask me and Luke questions, and we'll bring in some of you guys. Are You Smarter Than a Third Grader segment. It'll be about 2 minutes. Additionally, well, we don't need to celebrate this yet, but GAN. I know a lot of you guys followed me in GAN at what price do we get in? About $17, $18. Today we're up another $1 because of New York is, whatever his name is, Governor, what's his name, Como, is saying that some of the shortfall of the $13 billion budget deficit will be mobile gaming and cannabis legalization. So with that being said, you're seeing a big spike in pen. My call options, I own the January 85 calls. They're up 51% today for up a total whopping thing that if you guys followed me in of 600% on my call options in pen. Now, I wish I would have had that finger problem, Luke, because I bought $1,100 of those call options, and if that would have been 11,000, now we're talking. So, but it's okay. You can't complain. And then there's some other stocks that we picked up last week that are really moving today. So, I mean, DraftKings is moving. Another a SPAC play is moving. The SPAC that I'm talking about right now, that I'm seeing a decent move on it, is, where is, I just saw it on my screen. GHIV is up 3.23%, bought it about 10.30. That's the Gore SPAC. It's up a total of like 9% since we bought it. And Luke, I have to commend you, Luke. I gave you some shit last week, and I'm going to commend you because I said, Luke, the picks that you've given me, I was down on, but I'm not down on them. I don't see red on my screen. Ford I'm up on, and the other one I told you that you gave me that I was down on, I'm like up decent amount. What was the other one?
So I think I gave you 3 last week that you got into. All green on the week. We had PayPal. That was my crypto play. It was lagging the Bitcoin bull run. Finally, we got to move out of PayPal. Ford back up above 9, up again today. And then PSTH, that's Pershing Square, had a nice rally.
That's it. Pershing Square, Luke. I was giving you a lot of shit on Pershing Square. And what I'm seeing on Pershing Square now, and when I was giving you shit, I should have shut up and bought more shares because I was down on Pershing Square about 7% or 9%. You know, believe it in Luke on this one, I sold half my position. So I have a half position on it now, and I'm up 9%. It had like a 12% or 13% turnaround. If I would have just shut up and not yelled at Luke about it, not yelled, but just give him some shit, and I would have bought more shares, I would have been really happy. But that's the story.
All right, there we go. And,
okay,
and Jason, I've got some recent trades to update you on. Should we hit them?
Sure. Go ahead. Let's do it.
All right. First things first. Let's talk about the elephant in the room today. That's right. It's Twitter. Twitter, of course, causing some major controversy over the weekend. If you like President Trump, put one. Nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going there. We're just going to talk about the stock. But basically, Twitter, I traded both ways this morning. I've got the live brokerage account up on the screen. Let me throw you guys some zooms. So check this out. I hit Twitter with puts on the open, right? Basically what I was looking for is I was looking for the stock to be at its pre-market low at the open. It had some of that negative momentum. So I bought puts in it, flipped them within a handful of minutes and had a really nice run there. And then we played it the other way. We now have the Twitter calls up 117% on these things since we bought them. We bought the Twitter calls when the stock was somewhere around 45.50. You know, the idea was that I think the stock is going to get close to where it opened, or where it closed Friday today. It keeps going. It's at its high of the day. Let's go air horns for Twitter. And so the position that I'm holding right now, again, this is the one that I put on around 9:50 this morning. I've got the calls that are expiring this week. They're super short dated. I've got the $48 strikes. And again, we're up 118% since we put that position on just a couple of hours ago. So keep going, Twitter. Nice little air horns there. Basically, what I'm going to be watching for is to see this momentum keep going. If it's a slow grind throughout the day, then that's great. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking for. If we see some of this momentum start to crack, or we start to get some news reports that there may be actions against the company from the president, which you never know is absolutely a risk, that's when we'll be looking to exit the position. Again, these calls expire in 4 days. So I don't want to hold them for too long. I generally hate short-dated options. But right now the trend is our friend. Momentum keeps rising, and so I am sitting tight with this Twitter long position. So thoughts on that one, Jason? So still hanging out on Twitter long, and then let me throw this one out to the chat too. If you guys had to buy or short Twitter right here, the stock's at $49 on the dot. Put a 1 in the chat if you like it. Put a 2 if you don't like the stock. Jason, opinion on Twitter?
Long term, it's probably a good. It's a good one for sure. It's a good one. There's no question about it. I mean, think about what's happened. Trump can't tweet from it. It's moved the communication vehicle. I mean, for so many people, it is the communication vehicle. I just DM'd a guy that I want to join us. We've hired, I think we're about 90 to 100 people right now. Our last 5 hires have come directly from people DMing me on Twitter. I actually am thinking of stopping all job ads for Benzinga and just hiring through passionate people through Twitter. So I'm a long-term believer in Twitter. I think Twitter should introduce a recruiting platform. They should introduce way more tools for people like me who are heavy users. I would pay a subscription to Twitter. So I think Twitter has a lot ahead of it. I think it's difficult that Jack Dorsey is both CEO of Square and Twitter. I think there needs to be some other visionary CEO on it. But your call trade on the dip was definitely, you had balls to do that. You really did.
and I flipped it, right? So I hit it short on the open, and then saw that bounce start to come in and flipped it long. So we'll see. And the chat hates this thing. We've got way more 2s than 1s. People not liking the stock right now, which I actually like. That gives me a little bit more hope that, you know, if not everybody's in the story yet, there may still be a little bit of room to run there.
Oh, I gave the wrong link. Guys, ignore my link I just put in Twitter in the chat. My bad. I don't know what I'm doing here. What am I doing?
All right, Jason,
Sorry,
let me give you a couple other updates, trades that I made last week. And bear with me for a second, guys. It may take me a second to find them. Wow, I own so many stocks right now. You guys can see this full portfolio that I'm scrolling through. All right, let's start off with SPY. I went short SPY. That's the S&P 500 ETF on Friday, and I'm still not way long. Basically, the thesis with buying puts on SPY, that's how I went shorted. I bought the 360 strike February puts. On the ETF was I think that we're running out of catalysts. You know, I'm a big proponent of buy the rumor, sell the news. That's basically the idea that, you know, when something is coming together, that's when you should get into the stock, and then when the company actually officially announces it, that's when it's time to get out. I think that we're running out of catalysts on this market. I think really the last major catalyst that it has left are bigger stimulus checks or a bigger stimulus package in general. I think once that gets through, which I would expect to happen pretty shortly after Biden takes office, that could be the high in the SPY. So I'm still not way long. I still want the market to go up. If the market goes up, I make more money, but I am starting to hedge myself. This is the first time that I've done any sort of bearish action in the general market since April, but throwing that one out there for you. 2 other ones, I went synthetically long Alibaba and Palantir. And I did that by selling puts, and I always get questions about this, so let me just take a second to explain what the advantage of selling puts are. So I think this is a great strategy to use when you are okay buying a stock, but not at its current price. Because when you sell a put, you're basically guaranteeing that you're going to buy a stock at whatever strike price you sell the put for. On the instant that you sell that put, you take cash right away. So if you're selling a $10 strike put for $1, you take that dollar right away, and you're basically saying, I promise that I will buy this stock for $10 at some time in the future. And so I did this on 2 stocks last week. I did it on Alibaba, and I also did it on Palantir. These are 2, you know, hot stocks right now. Baba, of course, experiencing a big sell-off. Palantir going through a ton of volatility. I'm okay buying and holding both of these stocks for the long term, you know, below where they're trading at right now. The strike prices that I chose were about 20% below where the stocks are currently trading. So if we do continue to see a sell-off, I will take ownership of those stocks. Again, I'm okay building a long-term position in those stocks. If they continue to rally, that's great. I collect a couple $1,000s of cash right away and get to keep reinvesting that into something else. So again, Jason, the 4 positions that I put on recently, I've got the Twitter long that just went on today. It's a very short-term one. I bought the SPY puts, so hedging myself a little bit, and then I went long both Palantir and Baba. Wait, I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Why?
There you go.
What the hell? On your SPY puts, what kind of position do you put on that? Like, so say you're long for $1 million. Say your portfolio is long $1 million. What would you do on your SPY puts? Because I don't have a good hedge in place right now. I'm very long. I sold some stuff today, and we'll go through that in a minute. But what kind of hedge are you doing? Are you doing 10%? I mean, puts, there's so much more leverage. Why not just short the SPY, or is it not enough? You don't want to put that much on. I don't know.
Because it's really cheap to do it. It was really cheap to do it with those puts. So if you look at the strike price here, for $4.78, that's $478. So for $478, I hedged away about 20% of my total portfolio risk. The margin requirement, I mean, is
$478 you've hedged 20%. That can't be possible.
Yeah, think about it, because it's 100 shares of SPY at 360 strike. So I mean, if you do the math, 360 times 100, right? That's $36,000 worth of hedge that I have for $478. The only way that I'm making money and this hedge is paying off is if SPY goes below $360 between now and the end of February. Which we don't know if it's going to happen or not, but like I said, I think that the market catalysts are starting to run out. I think that stimulus deal may be the last deal left, or the last piece left, and so that's why I went ahead and did it. So it's super inexpensive to do. That said, I've wasted a ton of money, thousands and thousands of dollars over the years buying puts to hedge myself on that hedges that are never needed. But if you're feeling like you're way too long, buying the puts on SPY is a really cheap way to do it.
I think I should do it.
Yeah. So like let's say you wanted to hedge away, I don't know, $200,000 of risk. Divided by the 36,000. So you basically would be buying 5 contracts at $500 a piece. So it'd be $2,500 to hedge away about $200,000 of risk.
Okay, so can I do it right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do 2 contracts.
All right, so 2 contracts. Are you going to do that $360 strike like I did?
What month? I'm doing the SPY. Okay, let's go. I should share my screen for everyone, but so I click on options for SPY.
Yep.
Or let me share my screen. Hold on. They probably want to see that, right?
Yep. Let's see it.
All right, hold on, guys. We're going to share the screen 1 second.
And let me crowdsource this one too. If you guys think this market is just going to keep running, throw me the 1. If you think that we've got risk of a pullback, throw me the 2. I'm curious where everybody's at with this.
All right, is my screen shared? I got to make it bigger.
It's shared, yeah, but it's the size for ants.
All right. Oh. All right.
Keep zooming. Keep zooming.
You're getting a lot of 2s. What was your question again, Luke?
It was, if you guys think this market is just going to keep running, hit the 1. If you think we're at risk for a pullback, smash the 2.
Okay. All right. So what am I doing? Puts, calls. What am I doing here?
You want to do puts?
All right. Puts. I got puts going.
I went out to the end of February.
What price though? Strike.
I did 360. Right now we're somewhere around 380. Let me get you an exact quote. Yeah, right now we're at 380 on the dot. So
I don't believe this protects me for 200,000. That's what I'm telling you. I really don't. So sounds too good to be true.
Well, 200,000 would be if you bought 5 contracts. Each contract's going to protect you 36K.
So I'm just going to buy 2. I'm buying 2, and so you said each contract's going to protect me 36K.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep, we see it.
So where am I at? We're going to the February, you said?
Yeah, that's what I did. I did end of February.
Because you're saying the fall. Okay, so here we go. End of
I'm
February.
saying
So February.
basically my thesis is the last catalyst is going to be a bigger stimulus deal. As soon as that happens, or out of catalyst, we might get hit.
But if it goes up, I just totally lose out of it.
If it goes up, and you're paying $500 per contract, you bought 2, you just wasted $1,000.
All right. And I don't have unlimited risk because I'm buying the puts. I'm not selling the puts.
Correct.
All right. So let's go to the February 26th, you said?
That's what I have, yep.
So you did 5. Okay, so 505. What's the difference if I go to February 19th? Who cares?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I always like to go further out. That's why, it adds a week. Or sorry, yeah, it adds a week. So, whatever you want.
What about if I go to 361, I'll do? 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 361. 3 Okay.
All right.
You're watching me, right?
I'm watching you.
Trade. I trade. Okay. I have to move it up fast. Okay. So now I'm buying to open. 2. That's what I'm doing.
Yep.
You do market on these?
They're liquid enough. I mean, always throw in a limit maybe.
No, I'm doing market. So your argument is if the market falls to say, if this goes down, if the S&P falls to 350, what happens?
Then you're making $11 times 200. So then you're making $2,200. Your downside is basically stopped at 360.
Wait a second. I thought you said if I did 5, I would have 200,000. I want to see how I would have 200,000 protected.
Yeah, that would be if you did 5 contracts.
So if I do 2, how much do I have protected?
72,000, and the protection starts when SPY's below 360.
Okay, so if SPY is at 330, then what does it look like for me?
With 2 contracts?
Yep.
Then you'll make $6,000.
Okay, if I had 5 contracts.
If you have 5 contracts, then you'll make $15,000.
Okay, so how do I have 200,000 of protection then?
Because you're 200,000. So let's see. So 330 is what percent below 360? So that's 8% drop. So an 8% drop on 200,000 comes out to 16K.
Okay, so where's 200,000?
You're buying protection on 200,000. So
okay. So that's why I got excited by this. I knew there wasn't 200,000 of protection. That's okay. Now
200,000 of your portfolio is protected, basically.
Okay, I'll do 3. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. No, I'll do 2 because I'm probably gonna lose it. Okay. All right, we're doing it. I don't know what I'm doing. I still don't get it. So here we go. I bought them. All right, move out. That's the boring one. You'll have to explain to me more later because I don't get it. The use of it. So
yeah,
all right.
Basically, let me just recap again really quick. So if the market keeps going higher, it's not below 360 by the end of February, then you just wasted your money. You bought the insurance. It didn't do anything for you. If SPY starts to decline, you bought 3 contracts. That's about $100,000 of protection. So every percent or every movement of SPY below 360, you're making money on that. So it's basically pumping it back into your portfolio, and you hedged away about $100,000 worth of risk. So if SPY falls 10% below that, you're getting 10% of 100,000 kicked back into your portfolio.
Okay, I'm going to see what happens in real life. All I can do, see what happens in real life. I'm buying insurance, basically.
Boom, real life. There we go.
And people are liking it. They like that we're explaining. They're liking that I'm asking the questions. But James Santiago says, I got news for you guys. SPY isn't going on any time before January 21st.
All right, well, maybe it will by February. We'll see.
Landa Raham, I totally disagree. He said, please learn how options work before you do anything with them. This is really painful to watch. No, I don't like the paper trading. I like learning with real money. Not everyone likes to do that. I do. It's how I really learned. Back in the day, I had paper trading accounts and I was doing really well. Until you have real money on the line, it doesn't mean anything. So I like learning with real money, and I'm not advising it for everyone, but it is something that over the years has taught me a lot more than just doing paper. I'm not advising for you to do it. But yeah, Lambda, I'm sorry. That's just how I learn. I like to learn the hard lessons with real money. Sorry, buddy.
And I think the reason why is because you care. I've had the exact same experience where I've opened paper trading accounts and thought I was like a stock trading genius, because I'm acting entirely as a robot and making so much money. And then whenever I try to implement a strategy in real life, I'm just staring at the price all day. I'm getting freaked out. I'm closing trades too early. I'm trying to revenge trade and that sort of thing. And so I'm the same way. I think that you really have to do it live to experience it. And that said, you can start small live, right? You can have a $500 account. But I think that the live is so much more valuable.
And that's what I did. And that's exactly what I did. I did such a small trade that if I lose $800, I'm not really, I don't care, not to say $800 doesn't matter, but I don't have a ton of money in the game,
Yep, 100%.
Yep. So, I may make a trade right now, guys. So I'm gonna make a trade.
Rohan, can we get Jason back on the screen?
Do you want his screen or Jason?
We want Mr. Jason.
Jason, can you toggle your screen share off?
Okay, hold on. Rohan likes to make it hard for me, guys. Toggle my screen share off. Can I turn it off?
There you are.
All right, I'm gonna buy some options, I think, on let's see if they're good. Okay, so I don't think this thing is over in the government, this protest and all that stuff. What do you guys think?
I think no way.
After the conversation that we had with that person, Luke, this weekend, I just don't think it's over. So I'm gonna put I don't know how much this could rise, but I'm going to buy some call options February's on VSTO right now. Buying to open. Buy 4 calls. Let's do it. Hold on. I'll even do it at the spread's pretty big.
So the stock's at $29 right now. And we have earnings on February 4th.
Putting a limit in of 255. I'll probably be down on it because I'll be so hot, but whatever. And I'm buying 4 call options right now, okay? Then I'm going to buy the stock too. What other gun stocks do you guys like? SWBI? Okay, I'm going to buy that one too.
And let me throw this one out to our news desk. Randy, what's the ticker for Taser? Yeah.
All right. I just bought 1,000 shares of VSTO. And I'm going to buy, someone said SWBI. I'll buy that too.
Yeah, and here's one. Rohan, throw my screen up real quick. Check out this one. There we go. Zippity in the chat, throwing out the ticker, Digital Ally. They basically make equipment for police officers. Like they make body cams and things along those lines. Stock is up 16% today, basically on reports that more protests are planned.
They're saying, I just saw an item on the Benzinga wire, armed protests being planned at all 50 state capitals ahead of the inauguration. ABC News reported on Twitter. That's my reason for buying.
Yeah, right and then somebody threw out another one, ticker AAXN, that's Alpha Alpha X-Ray November. That's Axon. I believe that they are the Taser company. Like they make non-lethal military police equipment. Can somebody confirm that that's the case? If so, ticker Alpha Alpha X-Ray November.
I just bought call options on SWBI. XN is Taser. Why do you think Taser though?
It's like
we do.
Yeah. They make the police equipment. You know what I mean? So let's say that there's there's these protests, there's violence. People unfortunately die or get shot by police. There might be a renewed push for non-lethal first. That's potentially what the play could be there.
All right, I like the Taser as a longer-term one. I'm going to go out of the money on those, and I'm going to try to buy April calls right now. And we do have an exciting guest coming on. We didn't tease it today. We should have, but Tom Nash is going to be coming on. He's going to be talking a little bingo. We've had Tom Nash on before. He's a fellow U of M alumni graduate. Very smart, very fundamental. Do you have the U of M fight song on, Luke, on your soundboard?
To the victor. How's that?
Yeah. Okay. So he has a very engaged YouTube community. And he goes really deep on companies, and he's smart, and he doesn't really. And I also like how he does his videos. I'll give you an example. When I'm the one who I think discovered him at Benzinga. He starts off. He's like, I don't tell you guys to like or subscribe. I just want to give you the facts, and that's it. If you guys like it, then feel free. But I'm not gonna pitch you to like and subscribe.
Well, I'm going to tell you to like our stream. So if you haven't liked our stream before, please do.
Exactly. So Tom doesn't say that stuff. So it was like a welcoming thing. But yeah, so yeah, Johan was excited to watch his BNGO thing. And I wanted Bingo on, Luke, because BINGO, BINGO, and Bingo was his name. And what?
Stock's up 24% today.
All right, well, let's bring Tom on because I don't know if he's long, short. I don't know what. I have no clue.
All right.
So
Tom,
let's
bring you on now.
Let's go.
Tom, what's up?
Tom,
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Oh, yes. It worked, Rohan. I'm proud of you, buddy.
We got
Thanks,
sound
Jason.
again. 2 out of 2.
We got sound. This is great.
So,
how are you, man?
The victors. I'm great. I'm enjoying. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. I'm a little bit, flustered, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening before when you were just had like 8,000 followers, and you were just a little different than everyone else, and I like that. I like different. Different is good. It makes you stand out. It makes you unique. I mean, I don't know if you heard me earlier. I'm a complete idiot when it comes to like, hedging strategy sometimes. Like I don't hedge that much. And Luke was trying to show me how to buy some puts on the SPY. And I did it, but I still didn't totally understand. I know what buying puts. I understand that. But I just didn't. He was saying my protection amount. I didn't get it. But instead, I just bought this. I bought it. I did what he said. And I'll learn from it. That's it. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I gotta give you guys some credit as well. I mean, Benzinga has kind of become it's a household name. If you're in the stock market right now, everybody's in the stock market. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Benzinga is kind of the household name. Everybody, it's definitely like in the vocabulary. It's part of the conversation when you talk about analysis. And news.
No, it's kind of crazy, and part of it is because we didn't just build a platform for ourselves. We power most of the online brokerages, like with content and news. So basically, they come to us and license data and content from us. So if you're using Yahoo Finance, the analyst ratings data you see, earnings data, is Benzinga is powering it. If you're using Robinhood, same kind of thing. And so we're like the thing behind the thing for most platforms. Our website, benzinga.com, was like our redheaded stepchild. Now we are putting resources behind it. We have the last like 18 months. Should be moving faster, but I don't know. Anyway, and it was like I was in Miami this past week, and there's a lot of people that were in the market. I mean, I was sitting on the lounge, and this girl who I would never expect. I mean, maybe I'm stereotyping. She must have been 20. She must have been 23. She's on her phone, and I'm thinking she's like TikToking, Instagramming, and I see like a stock grid, and I'm like, "You invest in the stock market?" She's like, "Yeah, I got into like 6 months ago. And then I'm like, "Do you know Benzinga?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, she's like, "Are you looking over my shoulder?" She was on Benzinga. And then of course I dropped the Benzinga card, and then it was good. But that part has been crazy, is a little bit crazy to me. And that's what's happening with you too, man. So congrats, kudos to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So you guys want to talk about BNGO? Everybody's excited about this thing. It's crazy.
Yes, let's go to BNGO. Tom Nash's perspective. Me and Luke will shut up and let's hear what you have to take. I know you gave a really detailed presentation out of it, so let's hear what you have to say.
Well, in fact, I made 3 videos about the NGO. In one of them, I actually sang the song, the bingo song, just the first one.
There we go. Okay, we like that.
But I retired the song. That's it. No more songs. But to make a long story short, like I do in my videos, bottom line first, I think the company is extremely misunderstood and still heavily undervalued. And that was the title of my video about BNGO today, literally. I think the company is definitely not a shoo-in for anything. It's a very risky play because of the stage of where they're at right now. As far as they have a lot of obstacles to overcome, a lot of cash flow issues, which they're about to solve in a minute. But it's definitely a risky play, but they have the potential to revolutionize their industry, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. So here's the thing. I'll start with the good stuff. The good thing about this company is it seems that the market for them is much bigger than people initially gave them credit for. Initially, people were looking at BNGO as some sort of kind of a medical research device company. So your target market would be laboratories and stuff. Right now, it seems that people are starting to wake up to the fact that this is a medical diagnostics company that is able to use genomics to actually diagnose conditions, symptoms, and diseases that were never actually possible to use with sequencing like they have with current testing with genomics. So essentially, they claim that they can actually diagnose cancer with the Sapphire device using genomic testing, which is insane. However, everything I'm saying here is basically based on their claims of what they can do. So there needs to be, on my end, I mean, a bit more validation as far as the technology. But if this thing works as they say it works, it's revolutionary. I mean, we're talking about a diagnostics tool that can diagnose autism, Down syndromes, everything is automatic. Like these things you do in the lab today, it takes like you need to put a person on a microscope and you need to lay it out. Like the machine supposedly does that automatically and quite fast. And so basically, what they're saying is that whatever they have on testing today, they can do everything, but they can do much more and much faster. But again, we're talking about a claim. Now, that's the good stuff. So I think they have a lot of potential, a huge amount of upside, because the market cap for them would be the medical diagnosis field, which is huge. It's I don't know even how to quantify it at this point. The issues that they're facing right now is beyond the validation of the technology that needs to happen, which it seems like they're working on getting more validation, is the fact that they're pretty much they're cash strapped. I mean, they don't have a lot of cash versus the burn rate. I mentioned in my second video, which was on January 4th, that they're about to go and ask for more money because they're running out of cash within probably 6 months. And it literally happened 4 days after my video. On January 8th, they went out, they said, hey, we're raising funds, which is a no-brainer. When you need cash and the market is this hot, they have such a great stock price right now, it's a no-brainer. So the stock, of course, plummeted 21% once they did it, which is crazy to me because it makes no sense. I mean, the dilution, if you're bringing in cash, it's a good idea. I mean, you're getting more cash into the company that eventually will generate more growth. So I never understood why shares dip on dilutions, but it dipped. It created a great opportunity for people to come in and buy, and today they closed the gap, I think, back. I think they're around 5.8, 5.9. I haven't checked in a couple of minutes. So that window is closed. As far as what the future is for this company, I mean, in my first video, I said the target, when I made my first video, I think their price was $3.08. And I said that the target price is anywhere between $5 and $7. But that was before I fully understood the scope of what they actually can do as far as diagnostics. So I think, and I actually mentioned this, I think in my last video, that's probably at this point already a $10 stock, quite easily based on what they have as far as technology. But you have to understand that this is a completely binary play. It's either a $10 stock or even bigger than that potentially, or it's a $0 stock. They either do it or they don't. There's nothing in between here. So that's why I think it's still a risky play. It's a very risky play, but such huge upside. I really love this stock.
And Tom, let me come in with a couple questions. So you mentioned that cash was an issue for the company. You also said that they recently did some dilutive financing. Is cash still a concern, or now that they've done that financing round, are they good to go for a little while?
Well, they announced it on Friday, so it hasn't happened yet. But they announced it, and they're going to raise enough cash. I don't think cash at this is no longer really a concern. Once they raise these funds, the question really becomes scalability and more than that, validation of the tech. I mean, they have, if you look on Twitter, they actually have their own Twitter account, which I think is really cool. They lay out a lot of the arguments of what they can do in a very structured manner. And there's a lot of physicians who I spoke to, because I'm definitely, listen, genomics is not my thing. I know I look like a like a nerd, but I definitely don't understand genomics. So I spoke to a lot of researchers and physicians that actually told me that what they're saying is extremely interesting and innovative and legitimate. Basically, a lot of the things that they're pointing out as shortcomings in sequencing, which is the current genomics technology gold standard, they actually say that they can solve a lot of these problems. Essentially, they're creating a more context as far as when you look at the genomics analysis without boring. But basically, the question becomes very simple. Can they actually deliver on the promise? Because the promises are insane. They recently actually acquired the company on August 24th, I think, which actually does a lot of LDTs, like laboratory tests for autism and early development problems with children and newborns. And so they're definitely headed towards the direction of going diagnostics heavy. I think the company was called Linogen. I'm not sure. But I've never seen a company that young or in that stage actually do an M&A deal. But they managed to buy it with almost no cash, like 1.7 million in cash. The rest of it was in BNGO stock, which shows me that that company actually thought of BNGO as being pretty much cash. The fact that they did that deal, even Linogen, shows a lot of trust in the company, which was a great sign for me. So I think that the only question at this point remains execution. If they can execute on what they're saying they can do, I think this is going to be a massive disruptor in the industry, massive. But again, that's always like, we finance people, we tend to discount how important that stage of execution is. It's really important, not that easy.
Yeah, and I also want to point out to people that they are hosting a 5-day event this week. It started today, so heads up there. And then Tom, the other question that I have, you're talking about BNGO proving out their technology and that sort of thing. What does that timeline look like? I mean, is it years away? Is it months away? Is it weeks away? Any sort of context there is helpful.
Well, they have. It seems that they're.
Wow, you sound so much better.
Yeah, I know. What happened is that my mic was across the room. I just noticed.
Oh, we still heard you loud and clear, but now you sound like a radio host versus some guy.
Yeah,
on
I'm sorry about that. I got so excited that Jason is on the show, I forgot to put in the mic.
Yeah, there you
go.
Anyway, as far as timeline, I'm not an expert on this. I can tell you that I have a little bit of experience with medical devices company and diagnostics. It's a lengthy process. It can take a lot of time. It also depends on a lot of the regulatory aspects of it, which are complicated as far as the go-to-market and all that stuff. What I can tell you with my very limited layman experience is basically I see that they're moving in very fast as far as educating people about the technology, and I see really they're coming out of the hibernation, so to speak. They were quiet for a long time, and now you pretty much have news coming out it's a firing machine. They have actually a symposium coming out, I think, in 2 or 3 days, which is going to be kind of a demo of what the Sapphire can do as far as diagnostics. It's going to be huge. I think it's going to be another spike in the share, for sure. I think definitely anywhere from a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But again, we need to speak. I think mainly the constraints will be regulatory. I think as far as R&D, they are really advanced. It's going to be, I mean, there's a lot of regulatory aspects with these medical diagnostic companies that needs to be solved. So I'm holding this. I actually bought some shares. I'll hold it for at least a couple of years. This is a long-term play for me as well.
Awesome. And guys, unfortunately, I have to run. I have a brokerage call, as it seems like I have so many of these 1 o'clock brokerage calls. But with one of our partners. So Jason and Tom, I'm gonna pass it over to you.
All right. So Tom, do you buy into strength, or do you keep buying into strength?
I'm old school, so I like to buy the dips. Not really. I really don't like. Okay, the answer is depends. If I have a long-term plan for a stock, then it really doesn't matter. As far as I actually gave that example where I was talking about another company. I said it doesn't matter if the stock price is $5, $6, $7, or $8. If I think it's a $20 stock or it's a potential industry disruptor, it doesn't matter. If I want to own the stock in 3 years, the entry point is irrelevant. For medium-term plays where it becomes an issue, then I like, because the stock prices tend to be like a pendulum kind of a pattern to it. There's always a dip. Tesla probably is not a good example for that, but there's a lot of, usually stocks will dip, so you'll find opportunities to get in at a better price usually, unless it's just a roller coaster. I like to wait for the dips, so I get in for mediums, but I have very few medium term stocks. I'm really all about long term. So I'm more about, as you see in my videos, I like to analyze the fundamentals, because I feel long term the fundamentals beat the news, the hype, everything gets beat by the fundamentals. If the companies can execute and they have the tech and have the business model, everything else kind of gets phased out over the course of a couple of years. So that's why I really don't do short or medium terms, almost never.
Yeah, no, I hear you. A stock that I recently bought was Office Depot. I bought it, I don't know, not last week, the week before, and it's risen like by 30%. And as I'm sitting here, I'm getting messaged from these guys who are like, they're saying Office Depot is basically a new B2B distribution strategy, and it's not going to be like the retail melting pot thing. And it's like a healthcare supplies. It's like they have this whole e-commerce thing, and I guess this new CEO, and they have all this cash. And I'm seeing it as you're talking up like another 6-7%, no, 17% today. And so I bought Office Depot a week and a half ago or whatever it was, but I didn't buy a big position because I didn't know the story. I just knew these smart guys were telling me about it. And I was like, so then I researched it more. So I bought more into strength today. Like I bought more into strength of Office Depot, even though every bean in my body says this is going to be a negative, but the notes I'm reading, how they're changing their business around to be something else, is interesting. And so could it be another one of these like so BNGO depends on so much. Office Depot depends on execution of changing their strategy, So I don't know if you ever looked at Office Depot.
I'm not much different than you. I think what you're talking about is this. It's my long-term strategy. You're basically saying I don't care if I'm entering at 45 or 44 or whatever, because I see big things for this company. I actually bought BNGO shares today at 5.95, and
wow.
I knew it's going to come down. I didn't know to 5.2. I knew it's going to come down heavily, but I just said, first of all, I'm not going to sit in front of the screen chase this stock. I want to own it in 2 years. I think it's going to do great things, and I don't care. And it dipped, and then it came back. I didn't even check. So I think that what you're saying here is the same thing I'm saying. Long-term entry points are not that important. It's much more important to look at the company. Is the management solid? Are there smart guys? What's the cash flow is like? What's the business model is like? All the stuff that actually make a good business. And I think with Office Depot, what you mentioned is they're the poster child of the K recovery. Office Depot actually is one of those companies that instead of going down with the ship, they pivoted really quick and adjusted. And they've created a whole new business model with the B2B business and the remote business, and they came out on the upper side of the K, while a lot of these retailers went underwater because they didn't adapt fast enough. And I think that management deserves my money. I mean, if that's actually a very interesting stock, I might invest.
I'll DM you the notes this guy sent me. But the thing back in the day, I was immature about buying because I bought Tesla at $38 pre-split in like 4 or 5 years ago, and so obviously it's like $10. And when I bought it, I thought I bought double the position that I bought. I bought a small position. I didn't have any money then. It was like 5-6 years ago, and I thought I bought, let's say I bought 100 shares for $3,800. I thought I bought 200 shares for $7,600. All right, and then when I realized I wasn't trading actively, so I didn't look at my account, and then I went and checked my account when it hit 78, like 3 months later. I'm like, shit, I only have 100 shares. And so I didn't want to buy another 100 shares then for ego purposes. I wanted to see my percentage gain being so large. And so when I share my portfolio on like during the show, I don't necessarily show the dollar amounts, but I show the percentage gains. And so the percentage gain looks insane with Tesla for me, insane. But really, I shouldn't have cared about that. I should have bought more of it. I had such a strong thesis on Tesla back then. I bought such a small amount, and I'm not complaining 100 shares, and I bought a little more later, and I bought call options, but it's still 100 shares, $3,800 makes it to 420,000 today. But I would have had I would have that stock right there should have been a stock that moved me to like 4 million right from that one stock, which is just, I looked at the percentage gain versus do I believe this stock is poised to rise? And I know you've talked about that, I think.
Yeah. I think that, listen, first of all, I'll tell you a story that's going to make you feel a little bit better about yourself. I have a friend who held about $30,000 worth of Tesla stock, which he got rid of at 200. Okay. So he lost out on being he lost out on a lot of money. But on Tesla, I think I actually made a video about that as well. I think Tesla is a really interesting test case for how people misunderstand companies, much like BNGO. I mean, Tesla is a completely different story, but I think a lot of people didn't actually understand the full potential, and to an extent still don't get it, because the way people analyze Tesla is by looking at the automotive industry and basically trying to pigeonhole this company into this business. However, as Chamath actually pointed out on CNBC a couple of days ago, this is an energy distribution business, and what they're doing with Tesla and the synergies that they have with SpaceX and with other companies he's running, and with his brain, which is, I think Tesla can easily hit 1,500, maybe not in a year, but probably in a couple of years. I think that's a stock at 1,500. I have friends who literally say we'll never sell it unless we absolutely need the money right now as a like in this emergency. So it's currency at this point. I mean, Tesla stock is money.
Yeah, a few years ago, I went out to Lake Tahoe, it's Nevada. I went to the battery plant and did a tour, and I saw like how Tesla was powering all of Puerto Rico, or 80% of Puerto Rico, and I saw how they were producing the batteries, and I saw how the machines they were using to make it. And there were so many things I saw. I got like a special tour. You're not really supposed to see all this stuff, I guess. I don't know, or the public. And it was just like unbelievable what I saw there, and why I traded Tesla. Like Tesla's the one that so battery day, people were buying the stock ahead of battery day. I bought some puts. It was the first time I went against Tesla because people were talking about Tesla having a battery that goes 1,000 miles or goes 1,000,000. And I knew they couldn't do that because it ruined the residual value of the cars out there and that people bought. If you notice, over the last 5 years, every year the battery increases capacity by like 10 to 15%. They're not all one day going to say 500% increase. Maybe even if they could, because it would ruin the residuals. So I knew the battery day was not going to be as exciting. And so I bought splits, and then I bought some of the stock after. And it's one of these things, the numbers where it's at today is, yeah, it's amazing. And like the guys in our other show will say Ford and GM will eat their, pie, but that Ford and GM have these dealerships and they make money on aftermarket service. I have that electric car and I barely get service. And so there's 60% less parts. It's a whole different model that it's like that, innovator's dilemma, the Clay Christensen, like, are these companies ready to, right?
I think about it this way. Tesla, beyond the dealerships, they have zero inventory. Literally. I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, when you don't have inventory gaps, beyond the fact that they run their own insurance business, beyond the fact that as you mentioned, the cars is cheaper to make. I mean, the cost of goods on the electric car is significantly cheaper when you don't have an internal combustion engine. I mean, it's a completely different model. Not to mention that Tesla are actually doing something very smart. The FSD is moving to a SaaS model, so they're going to charge monthly for the full self-driving, which is going to be another continuous revenue stream for them, which is smart. I think Tesla is comparing Ford to Tesla, in my opinion, is comparing PS3s versus PS5s. It's all tech. I mean, it still works. You can play Mario, but next gen games, you have the next gen technology. I mean, I don't think I said in my videos, I don't think Ford are probably like 6 or 7 years behind, and with Wright's law, that it's game over, in my opinion.
Ride share. Okay, yeah, is that what you're saying? With the ride share, is that the last part you're talking about?
Yeah, no, it's my Russian accent. Wright's law, with the machine that builds the machine, the exponential.
Oh, yeah. Exponential Wright's law. Yeah,
it's my accent. Nobody understands it. No. But actually, you mentioned on a really important point, which I actually left out. So thank you. It's the whole robotaxi thing is going to be massive. Yep. I mean, barring any, I mean, if they don't get blocked by regulatory constraints on that, this can be potentially another disruptor. So yeah, that's insane as well.
You probably don't know this, but in February, before Tesla's big run, people were saying Tesla was dead money. I was with Kathy Wood for about 2.5 hours here in Detroit. She was in for a conference, and like some people knew who she was, but most people didn't. I waited to the last person. She knew Benzinga. We sat down for 2.5 hours. I have most of it on. I recorded most of it, and it was just unbelievable. And she's just so smart. And now everyone's talking about her. We're bringing her on. I think it's next in 2.5 weeks. She's coming on for a decent interview. But it's unbelievable. And Jim Chanos, who's short Tesla, the guy, you know what I'm talking about, Jim Chanos?
Yeah. The Bears, one of the famous Bears.
He came and spoke in Detroit with Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Quicken Rocket Mortgage and the Cavaliers, about 4 years ago. And I was in the audience, it was like 60 people. And he said, my biggest short is Tesla. And I didn't get up and argue it. I was going to, and then I just said, forget it. I don't need to create a whole stink. But people left that room after he gave his Tesla thing and shorted Tesla, like so many people. And that's what the problem is when you hear one side that these shorts get so convinced to their side, they're not open to looking at the other side of it. That's what I think. You're not open to.
The problem with the Tesla shorts, as you mentioned, is they're kind of in an echo chamber, because what's happening is, for whatever reason, the mainstream media isn't really giving Tesla what I feel is objective coverage. And we talked about this before. I mean, I don't think it's intentional, but for whatever reason, it's a very biased coverage. And then you have this environment where people who don't understand the business model don't get to hear the actual analysis of the company, basically talking about the upside. They really just hear about the. I think a lot of the people who cover Tesla on mainstream media just don't have the capacity to understand this new business model and this new business. I don't think it's intentional, but the problem with these shorts is that again, as you mentioned, they fail to see the potential. I mean, a lot of these evaluations that they're talking about are based on a very conservative model that talks about what a car company could be, and they're kind of missing out on that Tesla isn't really a car company, not anymore. And I think if you're still shorting Tesla in 2021, I don't think that's smart. I wouldn't bet against Elon.
Yep, I agree, and it is amazing if you think about it. Like the Model S and Model X, they haven't even changed the interior in like 3 years, or just little adjustments, and it's still like the greatest car on the road, and no one's even competed. No one's. I
Jay
tested
Leno
out the
actually
electric.
spoke about it. You heard Jay Leno what he said about Tesla? I mean,
What'd
he
he say?
said
No,
something really interesting. He said that, listen, I bought Tesla in 2015 because it's the fastest car, 0 to 60. Easy. He didn't even spoke about the environmental stuff. I mean, we don't even talk about that part. I mean, it's a 4-second car.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, if you ever, I drive it, and I love. I mean, it's crazy. It's the crazy. I mean, I mean, how about the autopilot? I mean, I drove to work today, and it's like I could have slept, I have to say. And there's a thing people, and I didn't sleep, but some people are doing things like, because Tesla makes you shake the wheel every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
There's a blog. It's called like the penny something. They take a bag of pennies and put it over the steering wheel so it doesn't make you do it. But I don't do that, so I don't do it.
I saw the demo where you actually pulls over if you don't do it every couple seconds.
Yeah, I was actually going to try that. I was going to test it today. So what happened was I was freezing in the car, so I put a sweatshirt on, and I had to take my seatbelt off. If your seatbelt is off, the auto driving does not work. So I took my belt off to and it turned off the auto driving. It gives you all these red alerts. It's like there's a lot of stuff like that. And the thing that my kids are excited for is the new horns. Tesla just introduced new horns. Like instead of just the boring horn, you have 3 different horn things you can do. So that's what they keep waiting. That's what they can't. Oh yeah, I mean the best part of it, I don't even like saying the word, but the farting toy is like my kids go in there and have their friends. It's like, it's for me who likes that immaturity. It's the best car ever. But all right, so Tom, bingo, Tesla. When you got your next position, we want you to come on. People love you, and we love your deep fundamental analysis. It's very good, and I love that you're not afraid to approach any stock. That's what's also cool.
No, you guys have been killing it. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really think that if you have any money in the stock market and you're not on Benzinga, you're just you're handicapping your trading.
All right, we're gonna cut that as a clip. Tom Nash on the Benzinga thing right there. Editors who are listening, cut that as a clip. Tom Nash, and then
send me a check.
And then
for
remember,
the royalties.
Yeah, it's such a. I will. I put your Twitter in the thing. Go to YouTube. Type in Tom Nash. It's NA. Someone said NASG. I think they just mistyped. Follow him. He's smart, and you're doing this full time. You're not like doing investment banking or anything like that anymore. You're doing this full time.
No. I'm doing this full time. I went full time where this was not financially sustainable because I had a gut feeling that that's what I want to do. And if you remember when I went full time, I had 12,000, which is where about you joined in, and then it kind of skyrocketed from there. I had no idea it's going to happen that fast. I mean, it's been a wild journey.
I saw your whole Dan Bilzerian thing, and I saw one of them but then you like sort of said maybe it's not true, the social thing. That like someone like I don't know who tipped you on it, but it was not a true tip or whatever. The social company that he hired or something. I don't know whatever happened with
that. There's a lawsuit that was filed by one of his former presidents, Curtis Heffernan, where he mentions he lists out the expenses, and there's an expense there for $15,000 for social media promotion, and a person approached me who claimed to have worked with him on that. And I was really deep into it until I found out that I had no enough evidence. I mean, I had a lot of doubts.
Did that person
it
work
might have
with
been
them, or
either
you just don't know?
either a prank or somebody just trying to promote his business.
Well,
So I don't know.
well, what I would say is showing hot girls on your Instagram and not much clothes, you're going to get followers. You're just going to, you know? It's like, and so I
Definitely.
don't know if they're real or not, but you're going to get followers. So,
Well, he
right?
admitted that it's all paid. I mean, he's actually on record. It's $100,000. The fee you get, it's like an annual fee, and you become a
Oh, really?
brand ambassador. That's what it's called. I mean, there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it. I mean, no issues. My only issue with it was that if you're spending that much money on marketing, which is probably in the top 20% of all cannabis companies in the U.S. and even Canada, and you're bringing in what I think was like $1.5 million in revenue. I mean, that's crazy. That for me, that was like you're spending 50 times more than you bring in on marketing, and it consistently year over year, and nobody. I mean, that's I was like that thing
No,
don't make no sense.
I hear you. And he built like a big following way back, back when, and I thought he would be able to monetize it. And I'm surprised that I actually probably met him 4 years ago. I did a sit down interview at our Toronto event, and we recorded the interview, and I never posted it on YouTube. I don't know. I was supposed to review them, but I knew I'd get a lot of pushback. This was like 4 years ago. I still have them like saved. I met him on it, and I don't know. Like I don't know what. Like I agree with you. Like at the end of the day, you
Every
got to
single
produce a
person that
profit.
met Dan Bilzerian told me that he is one of the nicest, most respectful guys you'll ever meet. Nobody has told me a bad word about this guy. He's just the nicest guy. No, I mean the Instagram persona is probably not compatible with his. I mean nobody's is, but I think from what I hear, he's a really nice guy. But I guess
One
that's
thing he
what
got a
social
bad
media. What?
he got a bad rap for when they had the Vegas shooting. He actually did try to help in that thing, but I don't know. The fire alarm went off during our interview, and it got a little crazy. It'll be a funny clip. I should share that with you. But yeah, I don't know who's running that business Ignite. Do I think it could be something at this point? I don't know what is going on with that thing, because you're right. The marketing expenses, and you have $1 million in sales. The numbers are like they should be so the opposite. It should be 20 million in
I
sales,
spoke with the
5 million
guy
in marketing.
who exactly. That's the ratio I was thinking about when I was doing the videos. I was like exactly what you said, but then I was seeing like 1 to 50, and I was like, what? That thing don't make no sense. I actually spoke. One of the former executives reached out to me, and he's the guy who was working closely with the management. He basically told me that the whole idea was to take this into a beverages business and have the cannabis on the side. And he was basically seeing this as a like a beverage company, and he said his following is much more compatible with that, but he got booted out with Curtis, so he couldn't get it done.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I've had
it's a penny stock. It's not that important. I mean, at the end of the
no,
day.
I hear you. I hear you. It's just like I would buy water branded by Tesla. I would buy vodka branded by Tesla. I would buy anything Tesla. I mean I need to make a Tesla room at my house. I mean, I would buy anything Tesla, and it's like that. If you could extend it to bottles of water, you could. But yeah, you're right. It's not that important at the end of the day. There's BNGOs, there's Office Depot. I sent you the notes on Office Depot. I'll get more. This is just a guy who follows the stock. It's like me. I'll find fundamental trades every so often, like Upwork. I found a while ago where they changed their pricing model. I knew their numbers would probably be higher, but then I'll listen to smart people like yourself or others, and it's like it's like someone that really knows an industry. I'll listen to them, and then because that's how Office Depot. I really, if you quiz me time on Office Depot right now, I would have to just like read the notes. Like I don't know enough, and there's no way I'm going to learn that many stocks in my life. I need to listen to. I have a guy, you know who Nelson Peltz is? Tryon. You know Nelson Peltz?
No.
Right. So it's like Carl Icahn, but he did like he did like Snapple, Wendy's, Mondelez.
Okay.
He's like so he's just like his name's not out there as much as Carl Icahn, not even close. Carl Icahn's like name wise
Yeah.
big.
Well,
But
Carl's the highest name, right?
yeah, my college roommate worked for Peltz for 12 years, and he gave me Carol's Restaurant Group, TAST at 185. He said, Jason, it's either gonna just go bankrupt or it's gonna be a lottery ticket. And he's like, so I have some in, and he like looks at the number. He does what you do, and so that's why that's why when people are listening to you on the show right now, why I'm going a little bit longer than I should be going is that, or we should be going, is that you go deep on companies. And not a lot of people do that. They look at, this, like Warren Buffett said, 5 years ago, if you're buying a stock because it went up yesterday, that's the only reason you're buying, that's probably not a good reason. Now, in this market, when the market goes up all the time, then it's fine. But you're doing deep analysis like my friend Brian. And Brian doesn't give me stocks all the time. He gives me them every so often, once every 4 months. And, so he's not a trader like you. Which one?
I did a video a while ago on Adobe. And
Adobe.
I give it. I think it's massively underpriced. I think it's at $480 right now. I did I can send you the link to my video. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Everything points out to this company being a massive, massive, massive success. They have the business model, the SaaS model. I think that's one of the. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do you know Unity Gaming? It's letter U. So Unity Gaming is like software. Okay, and so Adobe, and then there's the 3D one. It starts with an A, Auto, or whatever it is. Like Adobe's competitor in the 3D, like not gaming, but 3D modeling starts with an A, but I don't know. But Adobe, and then Unity, like follow that thing with software to create other things. But your Adobe play, so you love Adobe, so you still own it.
Think about it. Okay, so I'll send you a link to my video. But basically, essentially, what I love about Adobe is a couple of
Autodesk. Autodesk is the other one, by the way.
Okay, Autodesk. I actually know Autodesk, but if you think about Adobe has a much wider spectrum of services versus Autodesk. Autodesk is their competitors in a very specific area, but Adobe does everything from audio post-production all the way to video editing to 3D modeling for photography. I mean, it's endless, the products. What I love about Adobe is that the guys who pivoted from selling a CD-ROM, we still old enough to remember CD-ROMs, but from selling CD-ROMs to going online and selling SaaS model, they were pretty much the first in the business to do it. Those guys are still around. They haven't changed management, I think, in 15 to 16 years. And if you look at their financials, they're as pristine as one would expect. And especially with what's going on right now, as far as the stay-at-home trend and the whole switch to these home office, I really see a huge opportunity for Adobe. I actually gave them a price tag, I think, of $600, and they're $480 right now. I think it's one of those companies that are not quote unquote sexy enough, so people sleep on them. But I believe in long term, these fundamentals will beat out how boring this company is. I mean, it's not a Tesla, but it has such good fundamentals.
I want to buy it. It's fortunate. I bought so much stuff. I'm trying to trim out stuff. I've been on margin. I'm on too much margin, but you can always sell your margin immediately. So maybe I'll buy some long-term call options on Adobe.
477. 477. I think that's the lowest they've been in a month.
Wow. I mean, yeah, and we pay Adobe. If we had an ETF based on what we spend money with, like these vendors, it's insane. Like Datadog, from AWS, all our vendors, Asana, Slack, Salesforce, HubSpot. HubSpot, I was in at 60. It's at 380. Twilio. We pay all these companies for the stuff for Benzinga, and we pay Adobe. If we had like an ETF of just the companies we pay for stuff, it's up like 2,000%. I mean, I can't even. We pay Amazon.
How much?
Go ahead. What are you gonna say? We pay AWS. We pay AWS and hosting. You're gonna flip out. We pay AWS monthly for our hosting, $38,000 a month.
Oof. You might want to invest. But why I laughed earlier? Because you literally you mentioned all the companies I covered on my channel: Twilio, Salesforce, Asana. I mean, all these companies you just mentioned. You can go back. I have videos on all of them. CRM. Salesforce. I did one. Twilio. I did one about Mimecast, but they closed the gap. When I did Mimecast, they were really underpriced. But yeah, all these companies that you just mentioned, the biggest industry, I think the next industry as far as fundamentals. All of these companies have one thing in common, is that they provide SaaS to businesses. If you're in the services as a software business and you're working B2B now, and you actually have a good product or a good service, whatever you want to define it, it's a gold mine. I mean, everybody's going digital, everybody's going remote. I mean, you can't go wrong. Twilio, I actually did a video about Twilio. I did about CRM. All of these companies, it's just insane. And Twilio actually does some phenomenal work. I mean, as far as again, because we're old enough to remember. I'm 40 in 3 months, so we remember what text messages were as far as businesses reaching out to you, how spammy that thing was. And if you look at what Twilio offers now as far as packages and suits, it's how you can communicate. You can book a flight or change the reservation of your or rental car, whatever. Twilio does amazing things with really outdated tools like text messages, which I really love. I mean, but it's a new world. I mean, we're living through the renaissance of SaaS. It's really crazy.
Twilio was founded by Jeff Lawson and two other guys. He used to be at StubHub. He was a CTO, and before that, Versity. I went to school with him, middle school, elementary school, high school. I used to go to Jeff Lawson's house to go to his mom, Gail Lawson, for math tutor. I know Jeff well. I was actually at Twilio's headquarters before it was public. And he said how he founded the company. He had 3 different things he was working on. One was a SendGrid, and the SendGrid thing didn't work out. So what he did was he made up websites and bought Google AdWords to see who would click on this stuff more. So he said he made a thing for SendGrid type business, and then now they bought SendGrid, and then the Twilio thing, and he took the phone book and he called some telecommunication companies, like, if we can make this happen and this, and then he got like 60 no's, literally 60 no's on this investment and this startup, and he built Twilio. And why I'm bringing it up to you, Tom, is he's also related to you because he's an alumni of the University of Michigan, and he almost was an alumni because he didn't graduate at first because he had a startup and he left, and then he came back when the startup didn't work out, and then he finished his degree. And Jeff he's just a good guy from Michigan. So, whatever. But that's another one that's amazing.
A lot of people don't know that, but Twilio actually donate a pretty significant portion of their earnings. They're part of this plan. I don't remember exactly how it works, but I think they donate like 1%. I don't remember the plan that they're actually running. It's a very interesting. I remember when I saw it, I was really excited. Let me look it up. It's really. I mean, the guy is super likable. I didn't know he's a U of M alum.
Yeah. Wait, so before you were doing this, were you at an investment bank? Like, how do you know all this stuff so much?
So when I graduated, I got a job in New York City.
If you don't want to answer right now because we're public, that's fine. We can talk later.
Yeah, but I'll just give you like the answer that the public answer. I actually spent quite a few years in the city, working for a large investment bank, mainly in alternative investments. I was part of a team that ran an FOF, basically a fund of funds, where we manage about 107 billion. It's a decent shop, not a huge one. In if you look at the stuff that are in New York City, I mean, that's not a massive one, but 107 billion is pretty nice. And basically what we did there is basically the stuff I do today is essentially we look at good managers. We really looked at good people to give them money to actually, we didn't almost handle portfolios, almost never. So evaluating management was pretty much one of the massive tasks that we used to do. And that's why I got so good at looking through bullshit. That's why I can spot not so successful managers. I'm not going to name any names. And that's why I can see the greatness in Elon, in Chamath, in Twilio, all of these guys. I can see through the bullshit. I see who's legit and who's not almost immediately.
That's great. No, that's great. You're like a forensic.
I actually have merch that says Kathy knows. I love Kathy.
Really?
On my site, you see like Kathy knows. Yeah. With mugs and everything. I'm a huge fan of Kathy.
Wait, will you show me your Kathy knows thing? Because we are going to make merchandise for her because when we bring her on the show that one day, we want everyone to be wearing a Kathy shirt, and then I'm going to I'm going to send out the shirts and have a photo of like 100 people wearing this shirt. So send it to me. Maybe it'll give you ideas. Yeah. But the one thing I was going to say is, I just forgot it. But you like these guys, Chamath and these guys. You're like a forensic accountant for like not a forensic accountant, but you do that kind of work to figuring out companies that are bullshit or not bullshit, which I like.
Yeah, and it's not that complicated because
it's like a BS meter.
Yeah, but think about it this way: people get lost in all these. They try to make it seem complicated. All these ratios, all this. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do ratios and go crazy. You just take a look at simple stuff. For example, look at how much cash the company has. Look at how much liabilities the company has, how much assets they have. Look at how much they're burning through a quarter. I mean, really simple stuff. You can teach anybody to do that. In my show, I try to educate people how to do it. I don't try to keep it behind the paywall. I don't have any courses. I'm not selling anything. There's nothing for sale. By the way, I just sent you the Kathy note. But I'll just try to educate people on how to do it. I think everybody, it's a skill that every single person that goes and puts money in the stock market needs to understand how to do a very simplified analysis of a financial report, of a balance sheet, of a cash flow. Even if you're not an accountant, that's something you really need to know instead of looking at charts and try to decipher these. It's like I had a professor in school that basically told me this thing, and I keep quoting him. I never gave him credit, still won't to this day because I didn't like him. But he had a really good quote, is the stock market is essentially like it's a drunk person. If you try to build an algorithm that's going to anticipate the next footstep location of that drunk person, you're never going to get it because it's so random. When he's walking and wobbling, the next foot is going to land wherever it's going to land. There's no way for you to predict it. And that's what daily swings are. I mean, it's impossible to time the market. But if you go through fundamentals and you're patient and you're not emotional, you can really build a sustainable income and prepare yourself for pension and actually have a good amount when you retire.
All right. No, I like it because the daily swings, I like it. The drunken person, you don't know where they're going. Some of my Adobe March calls just got executed. So I'm now in Adobe, not as probably big as you, but I'm now in Adobe. So just got executed. All right. Well, thank you, Tom, for coming on, guys. Yeah, guys, look at, go to Tom's YouTube channel. He's very detailed, very good. He has a Twitter account, and he gives it out. He could just keep the stuff for himself, but he gives it out. So give him the love, and he's a good personality, and he sticks to the facts, which I freaking love. Anything else, Tom?
Yeah, I just want to give you a shout out back. If you're like my channel and like my stuff, I'm coming back here for the second time for a reason. I don't do a lot of these. It's because I really love what Benzinga is doing, and it's one of the best investments you can do in your future. Is actually go and re-educate yourself on credible sites and credible resources like Benzinga. I think Benzinga, you guys have been killing it, and I think that we actually shared a lot of the values. I really like what you guys are doing, and I hope to be back on. Let's find the next BNGO and bring me on again.
Yeah. No, thank you. Congrats on BNGO. I mean, you've been saying it, and it's up 20%. Congrats. I didn't want to spill the beans at first. I did know that you were long it, but I didn't want people to know your position before you.
Yeah, I said on January 1st. I said $5 to $7 on January 1st. I also did a video. That's what, Jason. Before you let me go, let me tell you something really funny. People really try to look at very simple answers. I made a video talking about the risks in BNGO, and then people were like, "Well, didn't you say you love BNGO?" It's not a binary game. It's not a 1-0 sum. You have to look at, even if you fall in love in the stock too much and you completely ignore the risks, it's like getting into a bad relationship. You have to understand what you're getting into, the good and the bad, because it's going to have massive implications on your financial situation in both cases.
Exactly. I mean, right. There are going to be pros and cons to any stock. When I was doing Upwork, there was pros and cons to him. People would say, I did paste his YouTube link in there, guys. I know you guys said, what's his channel? 128,000 followers. It's skyrocketed. And he knows his stuff, and he's going to tell you both sides of the scenario. He's not going to just try to convince you to buy a stock. He's going to tell you both sides and tell you what he is doing, and he'll question things, and that's what you do, Tom, and that's awesome. And you're giving out picks, and you're telling people what you buy. Maybe there's a Tom Nash hedge fund. Who knows? You guys may be surprised one day.
I'll do one with you.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. We're working on some fun part of the business. So I guess that's why I asked you what you did in the past, because I wanted to see if you had experience with funds, and that's why there's something in the works or not in the works yet, but we should talk about. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you for coming on. Thanks for staying so long, and thank you for educating everyone. People love you. Give Tom a like. Go join him on YouTube, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Tom. All right, Rohan, producer Rohan. Yep. Later, man. Are you there, producer Rohan?
I'm here. What's up, Jason?
Give me. I promise people smarter than a fifth grader. Give me 3 questions. Let's go.
All right, let's pull it up.
Okay.
I'm trying to get myself on the screen as well with you here, so just give me a second. But
It's
I
fine,
will
I
have
see
this
you.
question pulled up.
You should have me on the screen too. I just see you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to work on getting me in place of Tom.
You are on. We see you.
Here, I'll
You're
do this
on.
and I'll swatch my name out so we can see both of us. All
Oh,
right.
yours Tom's name. You gotta change your name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Change your name. Okay.
Okay, well, this question is, we're starting in first grade, folks, so, you know, it might start out a bit simple. What color are the stars in the flag of the United States of America?
White.
Well, look at that. He got it right, folks.
Okay.
Oh, you can't see my phone screen. Sorry. How many years are in a century?
100. You can change your name though. By the way.
I'm doing it. Had
Change
my
it, so,
hand busy with the phone. Here, I'm gonna add some background music just to add some light little game show
We have
music.
2 more questions, guys.
All right.
There you
So you were right with the 100.
Keep going.
Who was the first person to step foot on the moon? We have Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Alan Shepard.
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong is correct. What is the number 10 written in Roman numerals?
These ones are. I thought X.
X is correct.
Okay.
Do you want to do this? Is pretty quick. Let's run the 5 more questions. How many letters are in the English alphabet?
Keep going. I know that one. 26. Okay.
26.
Harder.
Boom. All right. And I could also give you the options, to be fair. What is the largest continent on Earth? South America, Europe, Africa, or Asia?
See, finally we got something that I don't totally know. You're laughing at me, but yeah, I mean, I know. Africa?
Africa, I think, is incorrect. It was Asia.
Asia? Okay, I didn't know that. See?
The comment section
not
had it
everyone
for a
knew.
little bit. Some of them did. Okay, how much is it? Okay, this one's stupid. In our solar system, which planet is farthest from the sun? Mars, Saturn, Venus, or Neptune?
Let's give the chat a second to respond.
What are you letting them answer your questions for you?
No, I was going to give him a chance. Mars.
Mars is incorrect. It is Neptune.
Oh,
Okay, this one's pretty easy. What month comes after August?
skip that, okay?
Skip that. Oh, this one's actually okay. What bones protect your heart? The femur, the ulna, the cervical, or the rib cage?
Rib cage?
Rib cage is correct. Yep. All right.
Two
Boom.
more.
That's the game. You want more? I can load it up. I have to wait for the ad to go away.
You guys want 1 or 2 more questions or no? Press 1 if you do, 2 if you don't. All
We're
right.
waiting on
they
them.
want they said they want more questions. Okay.
Someone said who won. I think it was just Jason playing, so maybe the chat won. Let's give it to the chat. Oh, okay. More questions. All right. Let's see. All
I
right.
want you to bump it up a little bit.
The music? Oh, bump it up.
No,
the fifth grader
the
thing. Yeah, I
grade.
got you. Let's see it. Well, it's only letting me go by. We have to
third.
pass a level first. Okay.
I know.
Okay, this one's maybe not the easiest. You have to, be on top of your game a little bit. Which prime number is between 5 and 10? 6, 8, 6, 7, 8, or 9?
7.
7 is correct. How many angles does a triangle have? Okay, I think we all got this one.
Okay,
What continent has the most countries? Asia, Europe, Africa, or South America? This one's actually kind of hard.
Let the other people answer.
Let's see. Getting a lot of 3s. I wonder if that means Africa.
I see a lot of Europes.
A lot of Europes too. All right, what's your
Is that
answer?
what it is? I'll just
You-
follow the chat.
Europe.
I'll phone a
Africa
friend.
was
I'm
Africa was
phoning a
correct.
friend.
Europe is
Oh my
incorrect.
God! You guys got me out. That's it. We're out. That's it. We're out. That's it. You
All
guys
right,
got
all
me
right.
out of the game.
We will pick
That
it up
sucks.
again next time. If you
If
guys
you
like
guys-
this segment, drop a 1. We can ask more
Yeah, if you
questions.
like this segment, drop a 1. Brohan Solo, and we got a green screen up. Brohan Solo and I had a fight about green screens today. He's resistant to them. He wants to do everything himself. I'm trying to get him help. I'm trying to get him help to make stuff. easier on his life, but he wants to do it all. Rohan Solo is only one person, but I think he
That
like
is true.
parties a lot. Were you partying all weekend? That's why I didn't hear from you. I thought you died this weekend.
All weekend I was not partying. We don't do parties in COVID. I was, in fact, mostly just hanging out with family. So a little bit busy with that. But
Rohan,
I was here on Saturday.
We should do. Is there a stock market smarter than a fifth grader? We should do that. We should like make Facebook. You were here Saturday. I didn't see you. I didn't have the live video on. See, when we make this office like TMZ, then we can make the live video stuff on. So, all right. Luke's getting mad at me because I'm not doing my other work that I need to do, and he's getting mad. But hopefully, we got a lot of likes and subscribes.
Definitely.
If you like the show, we need to know. Or should we stop doing? Should we stop doing the show, guys? What do you think?
Yeah, screw this show. You guys don't need us, right?
They don't. Like, I don't know if they're that engaged. They don't chat.
Let me plug the podcast real quick, or you can go and I'll do it. But I just wanted to let the audience know that we're on Apple Podcasts, so we have 2 episodes up. Today is going up on there after the show. So if you click the link, I just dropped it in the chat for all you Apple Podcast users. And this is your moment where you can actually leave a review. Spotify didn't let us do that, but it'll really help us out, guys. Leave a 3-word review, leave a 50-word review, hop on there, play it in the background, help us grow this show. And yeah, while you're on the go, you can listen to us if you didn't catch it live. Oh, and one more thing.
On the podcast side, isn't the Raz report in Apple now?
Yep, they're both on Apple. Yeah, so I can drop here. You want me to drop a link to the Raz report too?
Yeah, guys, will you leave reviews for the Raz report? I think we have all our podcasts there. Hopefully, we'll have some more guests on. Aaron Bry is supposed to give me some guests. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a Tom Nash podcast. But yeah, Aaron, Rohan, are you gonna put some of the older podcast? Are you gonna put some of the older shows on there now?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get someone to help me out and figure out which ones we should put up, or if we can do an archive one, like a separate thing that goes back at all the old ones. But we can get them up there, especially the good interviews. Same channel.
Just have someone upload the old ones, right?
We can do that, but then they'll be out of order. Is the problem, because we started and then it's gonna put the old ones before the new ones.
Is that what's gonna happen?
I mean, as we upload old ones. That's what I was thinking. Like, if we want to archive one, like before we started like updating them daily, then we can.
You mean a whole new channel?
If someone else has a better way of doing it than that, then yeah, I'd love to get some input.
Just put all the old ones on, and even if the new ones are out of order, or just get rid of the new ones and put the old ones on. I don't know. And let the new ones wait. We need to get the old ones on there. We need to have a history of the show, where it started from. This show is eventually going to be one of the biggest shows in the world. It's 100,000 daily listeners. We want to have the first shows in the podcast thing. I mean, Rohan, you may not have as biggest vision as our show listeners, but they have a big vision, our show listeners. They want this show to have 100,000 daily listeners.
All right, guys, you heard that. If you want to grow the show, drop me an email at rohan@benzinga.com, especially if you have experience working with podcasting platforms. Could really use your help uploading all the old episodes.
We have a lot of in our channel on I forgot what the channel is on Slack. There's like 4 volunteers that do all the stuff. Keep them in order so they just keep playing in order for hours. Yeah, there you go. So drop Rohan a thing if you guys can help him with the stuff. And then XII, same Raz time, same Raz channel. I don't know what he's talking about, but maybe I should sell some Peloton today. I got to sell something. I'm way too on margin, but whatever. It's all good. Have a splendid rest of the day. Hey, can't you hire an intern in India for like $13 a month? You can hire an intern in India to put the stuff in. You go on Upwork, Rohan, and put an ad. Help us upload our podcasts and stuff. I guarantee Rohan can do it.
Absolutely.
So, all right, you guys, we're going to figure it out. That's what we got you for, and that's grim but accurate. I don't know if that's grim. No, it's not grim, Emmanuel. The cost of living is so much lower. It's so much lower in India. Literally, we have a whole team in India, and we have the guy that's paid, let's say, $15,000 a year, and he's living great, like loving it. So, Ron M, just Tom Nash Twitter, just Tom Nash's Twitter. I'll do that for you, okay? Do you care about my Twitter? Do you follow me on Twitter, Ron M? Tom Nash Twitter. I'll give it to you right now. Make your life easier. You didn't want to Google it, so I'll Google it for you.
Aaron Bry dropped it in for him. He got it.
Aaron Bry did?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That was good. Thank you. And then who's moving to Puerto Rico with me? That's what I need to know.
I will move to Puerto Rico. If you put me there, gladly.
I will put you there. But we got to get the show. We got to get like 1,000 simultaneous listeners, on the show. We got to go. We have to have more shows. We have to have more shows very soon. Like, we got to go. We just have to go, guys. Okay?
All
All right. And appreciate you all. Pat Curran, I see you in there. What's going on in the election? What's the election update? Are you still in D.C.? Is the inauguration going to happen with Biden, or is there going to be a change that we need to know about? Pat Curran was in D.C. He said that there could be some things that will change before the election. I don't know, but I partly bought VSTO after talking to Pat Curran today. After talking to Pat Curran this weekend, he thinks that there's more surprises before the end results of the election, to be honest. So I don't know what's what, but that's what he thinks. And so I bought some VSTO because of it, what Pat says. Okay, so Pat thinks that Camila wins. Okay. And that's, you guys know who Camila is. That's the vice president. But or I shouldn't maybe say his last name. He's going to be on the video, I guess. All right. Patrick What Up is the name. That's the name. All right. You guys have a great. Executive Order 13838 is in effect regarding foreign election interference. I don't know what that means, but Pat, do you think Biden takes office on January 20th, or do you not think he takes office on January 20th? That's the question the users want to know right now. Do you think he takes office or no? That's what we want to know at the end of the day, Pat. 1 for yes, you think he does. 2 for no. I guess all right, we're going to have to hang up. So we have 15 seconds for Pat. 15, 14, 13, 12,
Pat
11,
says no.
10. Pat does not believe Biden's taking office. That's what I was telling you, see?
Interesting. It will be interesting.
Yeah, he does not think he's taking office. Okay? Pretty interesting.
All right.
Oh, my God. I'll flip this back. All right. Talk to you guys later. Thank you. Yep, we should get out of here. And Tom Nash is tweeting away. So thank you, man. All right. Peace out. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. We will see you tomorrow.
You.
And drop a review on the podcast. All right.
Yeah, and the Raz Report podcast, too.
The Raz both podcasts. Hop on there, listen to it, drop a review. And if you drop a review, send a screenshot to my email. All right.
Please, appreciate it. Love you guys. Love you.
Love you guys. See you.